So welcome everybody and hello. This is Ros Jones and welcome to How to Grow Your Business in 6 Months While Sustaining Work-Life Balance. So before we start, I know that some of you know me and have been to some of my events before, but I want you to keep an open mind. So I might be saying things today that you've heard before, but there's a big gap, isn't there, between knowing and doing. And so we want to make sure we close that gap and actually make sure you're doing what you know. So I would encourage you to listen, even if you've heard it before, and take lots of notes. I'm quite fast paced and we only have an hour and there's a lot that I want to share with you. So take lots of notes so you don't forget what I'm saying. Now, I want to give you the opportunity. Let me just check this is set up right. We have a chat room. Please feel free to chat in the chat room. It will only come to me. So if somebody can test that that's working, that would be super cool, please. If somebody would like to say hello or something in the chat room so I know it's working, that would be good. Don't all jump at once. There we are. Hello. Hi there. Yes, that's great. It's working. Good. Thank you so much. So feel free to chat in the chat room as we go along. We also have a Q&A and I'll save the Q&A until right at the end. But anything that you want to put in there, and I will ask for a bit of interaction just so that I know you're there, because it can be a bit strange doing these webinars when I don't know whether you've gone shopping or whatever. So please feel free to interact in the chat room. So without further ado, I need to share my screen so you can see my presentation. And we need to slideshow from beginning. There we go. So I want to just check that that you're all in the right place, that you're all expecting to be in this Balanced Business Success workshop, How to Grow Your Business in 6 Months While Sustaining Work-Life Balance. And let me just make sure this is working. Just make sure it's working. That's it. So I have a question for you. Why are you here today? If you want to type in the chat box, what's attracted you to this webinar, this workshop today? Why are you here? Just so that I know why you're here. Just what attracted you to it? What made you invest an hour of your time in this event today? Okay, yep. To understand how you can have a work-life balance. Yeah, that's cool. Hopefully we'll help with that. Broader view, work-life balance. Okay. Okay. Good. That's great. You're in the right place. Oops, I've jumped the gun here. So over the last 10 years since I've been in business, I've spoken with thousands of business owners, and this is what they tell me. This is their words, by the way. They're running around like a headless chicken. They've been in business for years, and it feels like being on a roller coaster with nothing to show for it. I just can't find the right people to work with me. There's never enough time to get everything done. I feel like I've been winging it all these years. These are exact words, and they're not just unique. They are typical things that people say when they come to me for help. So if you just want to write down, do any of those align with how you feel? Just write down the number of any of those that actually think, yeah, that resonates with me. Yep. Somebody says the roller coaster one, been in business for years, number 2. Anybody else align with them? Somebody said, okay, time. Yep. Somebody said all 5. Fantastic. Okay. This is an overview of this session today. So in this workshop, I'm going to be taking you through the 3 most common challenges faced by business owners and leaders that I work with. They are time, team, and money. So I'm interested that some of you have already put those in there. Time, team, and money. I'm going to go through these in this session. As I said, it's quite fast, it's fast-paced. Take those as notes. I will be sharing with you examples, real examples of clients that I've worked with their permission. Oops. But before we do that, so this mouse seems to be on a mind of its own. Let me just, that's it. Before we do that, who on earth am I? So some of you, I'm aware, know me, but some of you don't. So I've just got these pictures in here just to summarize me in a nutshell. I'm a business coach. The picture on the bottom right is me sitting in a boat in Scarborough. And what that summarizes is that I am a results-based coach. I'm looking for to achieve goals. And one of my goals was to live in Scarborough. So I achieved that. So I'm all about results. Another of my goals was always to, the top right hand was always to write and be a published author. And I finally managed to achieve that in 2022. It took me a long time. I wanted to write when I was a child. It took me a long time because it wasn't until I discovered work life into balance on the bottom left here that I was actually able to find the time to achieve that goal. So I am about bringing work and personal life into balance, and I've been there myself, as have many of my clients. So I've worked out how you can do that. And then in the middle here, this the logo of the National Hypnotherapy Society. I'm also about ongoing learning and development. I do believe that if we want to grow as a business, we've got to grow as individuals. And the easiest way to do that is to continue to grow, learn and grow. And one of the things I did, I found that many people coming to me wanted different results, but actually were so ingrained in these particular habits that they were finding it difficult. So I started studying habits, as you do, and understanding why habits are so difficult to break, and which naturally took me down the path of learning hypnotherapy. So that's another tool that I've got in my toolkit. I have quite a significant toolbox now since I've been around for doing this for quite a long time now. So that's me in a nutshell. But it's not about me; it's about you and some tips that I can help you bringing work life into balance. And why should we be focusing on building our business in a balanced way in 2024 anyway? Burnout and stress crisis faced by the UK business owners is at a crisis now. 75% of business owners report feeling stressed or overwhelmed, and it's costing the UK economy a whopping £5.2 billion a year. And it happened to me too. So I know from personal experience what it's like to put so much into your business that you just completely forget about getting balance into your life. So hopefully some of the stories I'm going to be sharing with you and the tools and tips will be able to help you avoid doing the same. But first of all, this is a little exercise I've got for you. You don't have to do it now. And if you want this particular template, I will happily email it to you. Just let me know. But this is an exercise I'd love for you to do. I'm sure you've seen the Wheel of Life before. My version, there's different varieties. My version is divided into 8. Your career, money, health, friends and family, romance, physical growth, fun, recreation, physical environment. Now, if we had perfect balance in our work and our life and in all aspects of our life, we would be able to ride along on this wheel through life very smoothly. But what happens often is that we are not necessarily scoring full points in each of these areas. So the exercise is to score yourself in each of these 8 areas from 0 to 10. So 0, so you would need to put a little mark on your diagram. 0 is in the middle, which is abysmal. 10 is where you're scoring world-class champion, where you put your mark on the circumference there. In an ideal world where everything was perfect, we would have a perfect circle, but it's unlikely that we'll all score ourselves 10 out of 10 in each of these areas. So the exercise for you is to score yourself between 0 and 10, somewhere around here, wherever you score yourself, and then to join the dots and to see which areas in your life are causing you a bumpy ride. And it might be that one area, if you score yourself low on, say, money, it will influence other areas of your life, maybe fun and recreation. So that's a little exercise for you to do. When you do it, date it, today's date, and then go back to it in 6 months' time after you've implemented some of the stuff that I'm going to share with you today, and see how your score has changed. So that's a little exercise. If you do want the template, put it in the chat or send me an email and I'll send it to you. So 3 areas. We're going to start with time. How to get more productive, make your business work for you, and free up your time. So notebooks at the ready, folks. Unfortunately, most people treat their business like a job rather than the vehicle to achieve what they want in their personal life. So I am very much of the thinking that your business is the vehicle for you to achieve what you want in your personal life. It's the means to an end, if you like. So if we understand that and we understand what we want in our personal life, then we can figure out what our business has to do for us to help us achieve those personal goals. So at the very beginning, the first thing we have to do is to start with the end in mind. Start with the end in mind. What is it that you want out of your life? Out of your business, and what does your business need to look like? What do you want out of your life? What's your big dreams? Maybe you want to travel more, maybe you want to retire early, maybe you want to sell your business, or at least not have to work in your business. Maybe you just want Fridays off. Maybe you want to buy a racehorse. What is your personal dream? Think big. I want you to think big. I think most of us go through life just thinking small. It's this and there's no other possibility. I want you to think big, really stretch your mind. And then when you've thought big, dreamt big about what it is you want in your personal life, now we need to set SMART goals for our business. Now, SMART, I'm sure you already know, it stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based. So your goals have to be SMART. There's no point saying, I want to lose weight. That's not a SMART goal. A SMART goal would be, I want to lose, where are we now? 24th of January. I want to lose 3 kilograms by the end of January. That's a SMART goal, okay? So we need to have goals for our business that are going to help us achieve that big dream. And they need to be written down. There is some neuro-linguistic reason for this. There was a survey done by the Harvard Business School that found that of that survey group, only 3% had written down goals. And they tracked the group and found 10 years later that 3% had 98% of the wealth of the group. So just let that sit with you right now. There's a neuro-linguistic reason why the fact of writing down stuff actually makes it happen. So write down your goals, have SMART goals, and write them down. And then the next thing is to have a plan of action. What are you going to do to make these goals happen? Now, what often happens if we have long distance goals, so I want this in 10 years' time, then it can be so far away that we just don't do anything about it. It's easy to put it off. I will do it someday. So what I do in my business is to have quarterly planning days. So I divide the year into 4 chunks. 4 chunks is 3 months, 13 weeks, quite a small amount of time that could actually really help you keep focused. So what is your plan of activity for the next quarter that's going to help you achieve those goals? And then, of course, we're going to have to find the time for those, but we'll come on to that. This was the same with Emma. So a client of mine called Emma, she was coasting in her business with no sense of direction and no goal. She was just doing the job, which is how most of us think of our business as a job. But she was dissatisfied. And so what we did, we worked out her big dream was not to have to work in her business at all, but to have her team run the business for her. Catherine is a personal trainer who went to people's homes to train them. She couldn't see beyond that model that she'd set up. She was stuck in a rut. So I helped her to think bigger. And now people come to her to be trained, and she owns her gym. So start off by thinking about what it is that you really want. And then you've got to find the time to do it. And this is really important. So people have already said that time is a big issue for you. So time management as a concept doesn't really exist because we all have the same amount of time. We have the same amount of minutes every day, same amount of days every week. We all have the same. But what's the difference is how we use that time. So rather than time management, I like to call it self-mastery. How are we managing ourselves? How are we managing the time, the precious time that's given to us? So I've got this matrix here for you to look at. I'm going to explain each of these. On the top left quadrant here, not urgent, not important, and not urgent. What are you doing that's not important and not urgent? This is when we tend to be procrastinating. We're deliberately putting stuff off. We're maybe scrolling aimlessly through social media. We're doing stuff that's not important, it's not urgent, it's called procrastination. And that is a real danger zone. At the top right-hand corner here, urgent, not important. This is when something is urgent because somebody has told us. So it's not important, but it's urgent. Now this is really the danger zone because we all like to be busy urgency addicts. We have become busy urgency addicts. So somebody comes along and says, please do this, it's urgent. We drop everything and we get on with this urgent stuff. You know, we love the idea of being busy. Have you been to networking events when they say, are you busy? It's like a badge of honor that you're busy. But the thing is that when we are deluding ourselves that we're getting on with stuff, doing this urgent stuff, what we're not doing is doing anything important that's moving our business forward. So we have to be very self-aware that we're not deluding ourselves, that just because we're doing urgent stuff, we're actually being productive. That is the danger zone. We need to be spending more time down here. Now, the bottom left here, important and urgent. This is when something may have become urgent because we didn't do it when it was just important, or it may be legitimately urgent when we have a crisis with a client or team member, something urgent has come up. This is when we're in demand when we're down here. And we want to be spending more time here in this bottom right-hand rectangle, which is important and not urgent. This is when we're in the zone. It's not urgent what we're doing, but it is important. We're working on our business. It's important. You know, I'm hoping that you think today is important that you're here to learn new stuff to implement into your business. But we have to be really self-aware to figure out where we are spending our time. Are we procrastinating? Are we deluding ourselves? Or are we in demand or in the zone? So we want to be spending more of our time down here. Most of us are spending all their time reacting rather than being proactive. Reacting, let's face it, we can spend all of our day reacting. We've all been there, I've done it myself. You can spend all day replying to emails, taking phone calls, responding to social media messages, interrupted by a team with a got a minute demand, got a minute, busy urgency addicts we've just talked about. The weekends and the business hasn't moved forward one iota. This is exactly how everything changed for Ian. Ian is a client of mine. He came to me. He was basically being sabotaged by got a minute people. So what we did first, we worked on Ian's dream for his personal life and then his business. And then once you've got that big dream, the big goals, it becomes a motivating force to keep you focused. Dreams and goals give you direction and motivation and focus. We turned everything around so that Ian designs his days to ensure he's being proactive. He's proactive, not reactive. And then we worked on his team and trained them to think for themselves. We worked on setting boundaries and expectations. So what was happening, he'd go into his office, his electrical services business. He'd go into his office and he'd be immediately caught by people. Have you got a minute? Have you got a minute? Asking for his help and advice. So what we did was we proactively designed his day so there was time somewhere in his diary for people to come to him. But before they came to him, they had to think of 3 possible solutions to the problem they were facing. So they had to think for themselves. And this is how he's grown to be a better leader and freed up his time to work on his business. All in all, you need to get crystal clear on your vision for your business with exciting goals. Exciting goals will keep you excited and motivated. And we need that because, let's face it, we all know times can be tough, and we need to have motivating goals that will help us through that. Otherwise, it is just a job. And some of us left jobs to start our business, and some of us just go into starting up another job. So the 3 Ds. These are things you can do. Do, delegate, delete. Do is when you just crack on. Don't procrastinate. Just crack on and do it. Preferably the things you don't want to do first. Delegate. So, you know, some of you may be just solopreneur. I'm not saying just. Some of you are solopreneurs. You don't have a team, or you've started in business and you don't have a team yet. But you can always outsource to other people. There are loads. There's a whole range of businesses where you can outsource to get things done. So delegate to other people or businesses, or to your team members, or delete it. Stop doing it altogether. If it's something that's not actually being productive, delete it. Stop it. At the end of this session, I'll be offering you the chance to speak with me, by the way. We'll talk through where you are right now in your business, what you want your business to do for you, what's holding you back from achieving your dreams and goals, and how I might be able to help. These calls are going to be available for you to book on. You don't have to sign up for anything, but if you want, as I said, this is a generic course. It's high level, it's quite fast. If there's anything in particular that you want to discuss with me, then there will be a chance to book a session with me right at the end. In the meantime, I think somebody just wanted to see what was in there. Oh, yeah. Oh, I don't know. So in the meantime, let's crack on. Who would like one of those calls? So top tips for time mastery, just to summarize, get crystal clear on the purpose of your business. Start with the end in mind. What are your dreams? What are your goals? Write down your goals. Draw up an action plan for the next quarter. Bite-sized chunks will really keep you focused. Then be proactive. Delegate. Delegation is one of the key skills of a great leader, by the way. It's how you can grow. It's the best way to grow your business is to delegate. You cannot do everything by yourself. So if you are a solopreneur and attempting to do everything by yourself and grow your business, it is impossible. Okay, so you need to delegate and understand the difference between importance and urgency. The number two subject we're going to talk about is team, how to recruit, train, and retain highly engaged employees. There are two things we need to get better at in terms of teams: communication and leadership. There are a lot more, but I've just chosen these for the purposes of this webinar. So communication and leadership, and we'll look at each in turn. Under communication, 3 tools I'm going to share with you: VMC, DISC, and systems. VMC, DISC, and systems. Your VMC is the foundation for your business. This is the area where the majority, I don't think I've ever met or started working with a new client where they've had this in place. It's the area that everybody ignores because we want to make money. So we dive in to try and make money. But this is a foundation for your business. And if it's not in place, I would go back and fix it now. It's how you create a foundation for growth. The VMC stands for the vision, mission, and culture of your business. It's the most important document in your business, and I'll explain why. So what is the vision for your business? The vision of your business is the top of the mountain. Do you want to be the best plumber in Yorkshire or whatever it is that you want to be? What's the vision for your business? Where are you going with this? Got to be big. Where is the vision for your business? What's the mission for your business? The mission is, if you like, the vision is the top of the mountain. The mission is the roadway up there. How are we going to get there? How do we do this? And what does your culture look like? The culture is who we have to be to get up that mountain. What's your culture statement? What are the values of your business? This has to be documented. Like, this is mine here. I have it framed. You know, this is something that you document and you share with everybody. You look at every day. You keep your team focused on every day. The reason it's critical is for a number of reasons. Your VMC is critical for recruitment because you want to recruit the right people for your team who are aligned with your VMC, who share the same values, who are bought into your vision. Employee engagement, same reason. You want people who are bought into this, not just going along for the ride and to collect their pay. It's crucial for marketing. This is how you attract the right clients for you, who are aligned again with your values, with your vision. And for sales, it's how you know, it's to help you sell as well. So this is the most important document in your business. And so I encourage you, if you haven't already, to get that done and driving your business forward, because you know where your business is going. Your team knows where you're going. Everybody knows where you're going. Second area of communication is DISC. Now, I'm sure some of you will be familiar with DISC. DISC is a personality profiling tool, but it's also a very important communication tool. It's all about self-awareness. I'll quickly whiz through this. Again, any questions, put them in the Q&A box. We'll look at them at the end, or book a call on and we can go through any of what I'm talking about today. So basically what DISC does, if you haven't already had a go at this, is it divides us into each of these 4 areas that I'm going to go through. You don't just get put in a box. We've each got a bit of each of these 4 elements in our personality, but we tend to dominate in 1 or maybe 2. So these 2 up here are outgoing, typically. The D and the I are outgoing. C and the S down here are more reserved. These 2 on the left, D and C, are task-based. I and S are people-based. So the D stands for dominant, driven, determined. High Ds want results, preferably now. So they're quite impatient for results. They want to be the best. They can be seen as a bit egotistical maybe, or sometimes a bit aggressive, but really they just want results, and preferably now. They're not that interested in other people, really. It's all about them. The I is outgoing, loves people. In fact, loves people so much that they need to be loved back. I stands for impactful, influential. They love people. They talk a lot. S is reserved and likes people, but not to the extent of the I. They like people in that they don't want conflict. They want everybody to get on together. S stands for stubborn, stable, supportive. They want people to get on together. They don't like change, and they need lots of detail before they make a decision. C down here is reserved, task-based. C stands for competent, conscientious, compliant. They love systems. Everything has to be perfect. Everything has to be perfect. They've got very high standards of perfection, which means that they will take ages doing something unless you set them really tight deadlines. So I hope in just that whistle stop tour, you can maybe see where you are in this. Maybe you're one or two areas. Maybe this is where, if you're an accountant, you tend to be down here. So where are you in the DISC? And can you see how useful it would be as a communication tool in business? So for example, if you had a business and you have an I and a C doing the same job in an office, they would possibly kill each other or try. They wouldn't get on anyway. The I would get really fed up with the C because the C is taking so long doing it. And the C would get really fed up with the I because they're up and down talking all the time. So you have to be really careful about how you recruit into your team. We tend to recruit people that we like, and that's not necessarily the best for the business because we might want somebody who has got different skills. So for example, if you're a D and an I up here, you don't like detail. So if you want to get a job done with detail, you've got to recruit somebody down here. So it's very important for a recruitment tool. It's important for other areas as well, which I'll come on to. So examples of how we use DISC. So for recruitment, I've just said, and we use DISC with Sarah, who's a client of mine, when recruiting new staff members. So that only people with the personality required for the job actually got to work in her business. This has been fundamental in creating a positive teamwork ethic. Everyone supports one another and understands what tasks they have to do. As a result, Sarah has seen revenue grow and her stress levels decrease. She says, everyone will tell you how different I am to how I was 2 years ago, not just through DISC, but, it was important. Sales is important in sales so that you get to know. With DISC, you get to learn how to recognize other DISC types. And I delivered sales training for Dan and his team and the client. Among other things, this included learning about the different DISC personalities and the platinum rule of DISC, which is to treat other people how they want to be treated, not how we want to be treated, which is what we're taught when we're children. Our parents say, treat other people how we want to be treated, but it's the other way around. So it means adapting our behavior to match the different communication styles of the DISC personalities. And just 1 week later, after that, Dan's team won their biggest sale to date. So for example, if you are a high D and you recognize the person you're selling to is a high I, with your self-awareness, you recognize that you don't really like doing the chit chat, but the high I does. So you've got to adapt your style, and you've got to build rapport through the chit chat, and also recognizing an I wants to be trendy. So, your product or service has got to make them trendy. So there's, that's very simplistic, but DISC is very important in sales as well, and in employee engagement. To increase employee engagement with a team, it's important that team members get to know each other on a deeper level. And one of the ways we did this when working with our electrical services business was by using DISC. Individuals were better able to understand the communication styles of their colleagues and to help each other accordingly. So when you understand DISC and you know what DISC type your colleagues are, it's easy to understand why that person is taking so long because they're a high C. So you have to learn to either accommodate that extra time because it's got to be perfect, or just to teach the person it doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be good enough, and it has to be done in this time frame. So DISC is very useful and important in various areas of business, and it is a profound communication tool that I recommend to you. Mishaps with the mouse. Come on. The third aspect of communication is systems. Okay, systems. System stands for saving yourself stress, time, energy, and money. And I'll give you some examples. Failing to have documented processes and systems communicated to your team means having to repeat yourself over and over again. If you want to grow your business and you want to free up your time, you need to have systems. And I don't necessarily mean IT systems. I mean, something has to be documented into a process that somebody else can follow, because you're going to have to delegate this to somebody if you want work-life balance and you want to be able to grow your business. And the rule is that your systems run your business and your team run your systems. And when you first start out, if you are still just by yourself, it's easy to think you don't need to do that because it's just me. But if you've got a growth mindset, which you need to have, because if your business isn't growing, then it's dying, then you need to get the systems in. And I recommend, highly recommend, right from the get-go that you start doing this. It's much easier to implement. How I helped Chris. When I met Chris, he'd been in business 20 years. This is quite a while ago now. He was selling carpets, floorings, and beds. He hadn't been able to take a holiday for more than a week at a time in all those years because he didn't trust his team to keep his business going. 6 months after working together, Chris was able to take his twins, who were off to university that October, for a 3-week holiday to Florida. Can you think those kids hadn't been away with their dad for more than a week all their life? And his business was still there when he returned, because we put the systems in so his team knew what to do while he was away. Client Sarah, who's an interior designer, she says she was cloudy. I gave her clarity. She said life was all work. The main problem was time. Maybe this resonates with you. Sarah felt she never had enough time for anything, was always working, taking work home, running out of time, juggling family life, clients, running a business that had reached a 10-year milestone, and trying to tick off daily tasks was a difficult balancing act that was going to topple at any time, she recognized. On top of that, Sarah was always questioning, why am I working so hard? What am I doing wrong? And she said she thought it would be easier by now. She said, I recognized the need to change. I didn't want to go into another year the same way. Something had to give. What's more, she wanted to push the business forward from its adolescent stage into maturity, but she felt time was always running out. She couldn't envisage how to get there. We used DISC and shifted the focus onto Sarah. See, sometimes we think we can blame it on other things, but sometimes if we do the self-awareness of a DISC personality profile, as she said, I saw clarity immediately. So much was made clear after I read my DISC report. So instead, I began questioning, how can I change? It was amazing. I was ready. You have to look at yourself and be willing. And she surely did change. And I had this phone call, actually. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. So Ian came to me dreading going to his business every day and resenting his team. His DISC helped him learn to improve his communication and turn his business around. His DISC was high S. What that meant was he found it impossible to confront his team with their poor performance because he didn't like conflict. So high S is just want everybody to get on. They don't want to upset the apple cart. They don't like conflict, which means that you can't confront somebody when they're underperforming. High S individuals resist change as well. So we move slowly. If you're trying to sell to an S, by the way, you wouldn't say, this is going to revolutionize your life, your overnight, because they would run a mile. You have to say, look, there's a 6-month training program. I'm going to be holding your hands every step of the way, and encourage them that way. And so Sandra, who's one of his team, she had referred Ian to me in the first place, and she rang me, which was wonderful, unsolicited. She rang me to thank me from the bottom of my heart for the super positive changes she'd seen in her boss. And that was, it's one of the lovely highlights of my work, is getting messages like that. So they are 3 tools to help with communication. And the other one we want to look at is leadership. And now the thing about leadership is, if it depends where you come into business, but a lot of people who I have worked with have started off setting their business up themselves as a technician. They love what they do. They've set up as an electrician or a plumber or whatever. They love what they do, but actually they've got to then learn to be a great leader. And I'm just going to whiz you through 5 levels of leadership. These are all areas where I'm just giving you a few nuggets. Speak later if you want to learn more, anyway, the 5 levels of leadership. We have disliked manager. Now, disliked manager is somebody who's been around a long time, and the only way to promote them is to make them a manager. And everybody else doesn't like him because they can't see why he's being promoted or she's being promoted to be a manager, so they don't like them. A disrespected manager is somebody who tries to be mates with everybody. You know, they've been around, they've made a manager, and they still try and be mates, and they become disrespected. The manager leader is somebody who basically hasn't learned to lead yet. They micromanage everybody. They can't let go. They can't delegate properly. They micromanage. The respected leader is somebody who's learned to delegate. And the accomplished leader, the fifth level of leadership, is where you've learned all that stuff and you are now in a position where you can mentor other people and help them up those levels. So 5 levels of leadership. So top tips for the team. Just to summarize, use your VMC in all job adverts. Always refer to your VMC in any advertising for people. Hire on the right attitudes. You can teach skills, you know, so hire the right attitudes. Never recruit in desperation. If you recruit in desperation, guess what? You will recruit desperate people. Use a DISC profile to deepen your understanding and keep the team focused on the VMC. Remember, systems run your business, your team run the systems. Agree KPIs. So you've got the systems, but actually key performance indicators. How do you know that these people in your team or that you outsource to are actually delivering productively on the things you've asked them to do? And remember that true communication is a response you get. True communication is a response you get. So think about it. If I've asked you to post something in the chat room and you haven't, I have to ask myself, what do I have to do about my communication to make you get the, so I get the response I want? So I'd say, please, can you put something in the chat room? So that's some top tips for your team. And part 3 is money. How to grow revenue and profit without busting a gut. So pens and papers ready. So my job today is not to make you like me, it's to tell you the truth. Is that okay? I'd love it if you could tell me that, if the answer to that in the chat box. I'm your coach today. My job is not to make you like me. Is it okay if I tell you the truth? Please feel free to put in the chat so I know that somebody's still there listening to me and not gone shopping. Please put something in there for me. Oh, somebody says it is okay. That's fine. Cool. Okay, so this is the truth then that I want to share with you. My job as a business coach is to shine a light on blind spots. That's what I do. My job as a business coach is to shine a light on blind spots, those areas that you're not aware of. So many people in business are lazy with their marketing. They just rely on word of mouth. If they do carry out marketing activities, they fail to measure the outcome to find out what's working. 80% of marketing doesn't work. So we need to find the 20% that does work. How do we find that? We need to be bold. And the only way to measure the 20% is to track our numbers. So this is the area that really lets a lot of businesses down. So I want to go through it with you. We need numbers to tell us the objective truth. You know, I say to people, so what's your conversion rate? And they'll say 90%. And I said, so did you imagine that or did you actually measure it? And they admit that they just imagined it. So when we do measure it, it's more like 40%, which is great because look at all that amount we have still to work with. Numbers are the dashboard for our business. Numbers are the area where many business people just bury their head in the sand. It's not something that we really like doing, but it's the only way to know where we are in our business. It's the information we need to know whether we need to put our foot down, we need to put some more, we need to refuel, we need to get our tires checked. You know, it's all those things. The numbers are the dashboard for our business. Who has a dashboard for their business right now? Please say yes or no in the chat room. Anybody got a dashboard for their business where they're keeping numbers of their marketing activities? Is anybody keeping a dashboard? Looks like nobody's keeping a dashboard. Okay, so let's see if this helps. When I speak with people about money and marketing, it all comes down to the fact that most people are fixated on lead generation. Lead generation is the most expensive marketing you can do. Unless you are a brand new business, lead generation is the most expensive marketing because it's 5 or 6 times easier and cheaper to sell to existing customers than it is to go out and get new ones. And there's a whole gold mine in your existing customers of what you can do with. So unless you're a brand new business, your first focus should be on your existing customers and their customer journey. How are you keeping your customers happy? So happy that they want to come back and buy from you again. Do they know everything you sell? So the best way to explain this is to show you the interior designer I worked with. She'd been in business 10 years. She had a successful looking business from the outside. In fact, all the businesses that I work with look successful from the outside. But she complained she was meeting herself coming backward. No time. She was meeting herself coming backward. She wanted a team to sell more in her shop so it would make more profit, and she wanted to be able to spend more time with her daughter. Does this sound like anybody? Resonate with anybody? Here were the gaps. She didn't have any goals for her business. She didn't have a VMC. Her team was disengaged. She left all her financial numbers with her accountant and looked at them once a year. She didn't know her customer numbers, her conversion rate, number of new inquiries, average spend, number of times her customers bought from her. All of those, she didn't have those. She didn't measure the performance of any of her marketing activities. She didn't have documented systems. There was no performance measurements in place for her team, so she had no objective proof about how well they were serving her business. However, with all of that, you imagine she had a successful looking business. So can you imagine the difference if she had put all this in place, the difference it could make? And that's what we cracked on with. We created a 3-month action plan visible on the wall. The plan was built out with clear actions, ownership, and responsibilities to those in her team. We need to build your plan. So here's what you do. You collate your current financial numbers. For example, your break even. Who knows their break even? Please type in the chat if you know your break even. What is your break even? What's the purpose of your break even? Do you know your variable and fixed costs, your COGS, your cost of goods sold, your pricing, your profit margin, aged debtors, profit, etc.? We need to get all those. We need to get all those numbers. I'm just checking to see this. Okay. Okay. Excellent. Who has financial goals in their business? Oh, what's COGS? So COGS is cost of goods sold. So in order to if you sell footballs, it costs you something to buy the footballs. So you need to know what that is. So you need to know what markup to put on it and what price you're going to sell it at to make a profit. Yeah, that's what COGS is. Cost of goods, or you could have cost of sales. Yeah. Anybody got financial goals? Set yourself a financial goal. That's a really juicy goal to have written down in your business. Identify quick wins. Could you put your prices up? Could you cut costs? Shorten payment terms. You know, some people have worked, 30 days payment. If you shortened that to 7 days or up front, think how much more cash you'd have in your business. Grade clients. So what I mean by grade clients is, when I started my business, I was so desperate to help everybody. I got desperate people, and they couldn't even pay me. They just had a pulse, and that was fine. But then as you go on and you realize the value of what you do, you realize actually you have to grade clients. A, B, C, D, grade your clients. The D's, dead, they have to go. These are clients who don't pay you, who complain all the time and waste your time. Some clients just have to go, let them down nicely and just let them go. You need to sack them, because the law of vacuum, when you make a space, it will fill. That's the law of vacuum. So get rid of clients, seriously, who are taking your energy, not paying. Review all your marketing activities. Identify new marketing activities if necessary, and allocate tasks with timescales to people who are doing them for you. And renew your customer journey and amend if necessary. Now, the ladder of loyalty. Does anybody know the ladder of loyalty? I'll just whiz through it. Your customer journey is so important. It's 5 or 6 times easier and cheaper to get customers to buy from you again. Why would you ever want to lose them, except if they're D clients? Okay, we've got rid of those. So we need to make sure that your customer service is excellent, more than excellent. And then work on the ladder of loyalty. Now I'll quickly whiz through the ladder of loyalty. So the ladder of loyalty, you might want to you will want to write this down. The bottom rung of the ladder of loyalty is Suspects. It's everybody out there who's a potential, right? But then you've got your prospects. The next one is prospects. Prospects are actually your target market. When one of your target market buys from you once, they become a shopper. If you've given them such good service that they come back to buy from you again, then you are your customer. The next rung is members. So as you get more customers and they come back to you, they are your members, your tribe, if you like. How are you going to keep them happy? How are you going to reward them for being in your members? Give them a members kit. The next level is an advocate. Advocates are when you ask them to refer you, to recommend you to somebody. Can you give me a like a Google review or something? That's an advocate you've asked them to. The top rung of the ladder is your raving fan. You don't have to ask them to do anything. They'll just shout about you from the rooftops. They will tell everybody about you because you are wonderful. And so we want to move people up that ladder of loyalty from the suspect to the raving fan. And that's your job in terms of your whole customer journey. Okay. So as a result, going back to Sarah, as a result of simply following her plan, Sarah's outcome, her profit margins up on all the projects because we put her hourly rate up. Her conversion rate increased by 75% within just 3 months because we had them all visible on the board so they could work on them. Her turnaround on a quote acceptance accelerated to less than 1 week on average. Shop sales up like for like by 46% on average. And she takes Fridays off, which is nice, isn't it? Hands up if you'd like to take your Fridays off. So a perfect example. Oh yes, so this is another client. This is a perfect example, right? Within a few short months of started, this is somebody offered. This is a raving fan. She gave me this testimonial. Within a short months of starting my coaching sessions with Roz, I not only started to see a difference in the business, significant increases in both revenue and profit, but I also started to feel a positive change in my own behaviors in my personal life as well as my professional life. Roz helps you to constantly move forward and work towards making the big dreams come true. What would I say to anyone considering taking up coaching sessions with Roz? Have the initial call, be completely open and honest about yourself and your business, and enjoy your session. It's your time. I'm blushing just reading this. I'm so glad that I met Roz, and I can't thank her enough for all the help and support she's given me. Now, this is a raving fan, as I said. She just sent this to me. And the great thing about this client is that we actually started work before lockdown, just like a week before lockdown, and she lost all of her clients, not through me, through lockdown, because everybody was reining in their horns, weren't they? And within 3 months, she was back and bigger than she was before, just by some simple marketing things that I taught her. So yeah. Anyway, some names. So Chris said, Roz's coaching has helped me change my focus and quite literally changed my life. And Sarah, I don't see me ever not having Roz. She's part of the team. And Nikki, who's the one I just spoke to you about. If you're ready to grow your business, definitely speak to Roz. I honestly do not know where my business would be. Anyway. Oh. So to summarize that, top tips for money. Get comfortable with money and numbers. We must... 2 key skills for business, for entrepreneurs, business people skills, money skills, or number skills. Yeah, they're the top 2, my 2 top tips. They're what you need to get good at. Do the 10% challenge on all your costs. So, look at your profit and loss. Hopefully you've got everything on a system these days where you can just click a button and get your P&L up, and look at all your expenses. And is it possible to cut all of those expenses by 10%? Reduce your payment terms, 30 to 14 or 14 to 7 or 7 to upfront, or get an installment in upfront. Increase your prices. Now, a lot of people think increasing oh no, I can't put my prices up, my customers will disappear. Now, believe this, price is 10% of the reason why people buy from you. It's not the biggie that everybody thinks so. So the biggest reason why people buy from you is because they like and trust you. That's the biggest reason why people buy from you. It's not price. And anybody who works with me is forbidden to reduce prices, because discounting is like a one-way street to disaster. So put your prices up. They love what you do. They'll be fine. And if they're not, they're your D clients, okay? So know your worth, stop discounting, just said that. Review all your marketing activities. Where are you wasting money? Focus on the 20% that's working. Review your numbers daily, weekly, monthly. What you measure, you can manage and increase. So have your numbers visible like Sarah did on that big board. Look at your numbers, measure them. To build a balanced business, you don't need to work more hours. You need a plan in place that you stick to. You need to outsource or employ people who you can train to do the things that you should no longer be doing unless you want to. There could be some low skill, high fun things that you actually like doing, and that's fine. I know how passionate you are about what you do, but we need to get your business to a point where it generates you the results you deserve in your personal life. It's a big deal running a business, isn't it? You deserve the results that you want. The opportunity, as I said, is to book a call with me. But I also wanted to share with you my Balanced Business Success Program. So my Balanced Business Success Program is for you if you'd like me personally to help you build your business in a balanced way so you can get your life back, just like I did with those others. And I just want to tell you a bit about it. This mouse is just like not working. Okay. Before I do that, some pictures. So just some pictures of me in action. Top left is one of my quarterly planning days, actually. On the bottom right, these two are me working with, these are team like workshop strategy events. This is one of my clients, Isabel. I think some of you may know her. This on the bottom left here is a team. I have various things that I do, and one of them is an employee engagement program, and this is a bigger business that I did that with their managers. This looks like graduation day where they all got a certificate. So I like doing things like that. Anyway, so the opportunity for you, whatever your business challenge is right now, I can help you overcome it. Whether it's goal setting, not enough time, recruiting the right people for your team, dealing with employee disengagement, increasing profits, leadership and communication, customer retention, feeling burnt out and out of love with your business, feeling stuck, and focus. If any of these things resonate, like book a call with me. You don't have to join up with anything, but see how I can give you some more tips unless this has been enough for you today. And accountability, of course, because everybody needs accountability in their lives, don't we? Because we all say things and then just days go past and we haven't done them. I'll help you identify quick wins that will give you an immediate return on your investment. So I always guarantee that you'll get a return on your investment with me because I never want to be seen as an expense. So I always find ways to cover my fees. I'll help you identify goals for your personal life and goals for your business that will help you achieve what you want in your personal life. We'll design an action plan for the quarter that will help you achieve each of your goals. We'll meet every week to discuss progress and how I can help you overcome any challenges encountered. I'll teach you new ways of doing things because, you know, we do the same things over and over, don't we? We get stuck in the same habitual ways of doing things. In fact, I think 95% of what we do every day is just on autopilot. Here's a little test for you, actually. If you wear socks tomorrow morning when you're getting dressed, just think about which sock you are automatically going to try and put the sock on the same foot every single day. Mine is my left, unless I consciously decide to put it on the right. So that's a little test for you. See if you can do it differently and you don't fall over. Every week, you'll be working towards goal achievement, whether that relates to time, team, or money, because I am about goal achievement. It's a chance for you to learn how you can grow your business and get your life back. This is a model that Nikki's been through. And she said not only has she seen more growth in her team and her customer list, but she's smashing her personal goals too, with house extensions, increasing her salary, more holidays and time off with her family. Now, this is the best thing. You know, I said to you, when I first met her, it was lockdown. And she told me that she was using a bedroom in her house as an office. And her goal was to have an extension on her house so that she could have her office, you know, as you know, her own individual office attached to her house. And then it was just about 6 months ago, I actually went to her house and sat in that extension and admired her new kitchen. And she's take times off when she wants these days. So these stories are brilliant. Catherine, she went from the mobile personal trainer to a gym owner. She goes online now. She has an online fitness course. She's smashing her personal goals, takes time off as she pleases. She said, Ros has helped me see my business as more than a means to an end. She's given me the self-belief to drive it forward, to make it my vehicle, to take me to where I want to be in life. I'm now more confident than ever with this newfound mindset. I feel anything is possible. So this is what you get inside the 6 month. This is a program that I run. I do other things, so it's, you know, but this is just one of them that I wanted to share with you today. An experienced certified business coach with hundreds of success stories by your side as long as you need her. Unreasonable but compassionate friend. Teacher, coach, and mentor. Group coaching. Weekly video training with actions to take, of course. Weekly 1 hour business balanced business success meeting with one-on-one contact by telephone or email in between if required. Free DISC personality profiling. Critiques of any written material, whether that's a job advert that you're putting out there or marketing material. 2 quarterly in-person 1-day business planning workshops within that 6 months. Guaranteed results for just £600 a month or £3,000 as an upfront payment. People underestimate the support you get. This is all about getting results. That's what I do. Always available to take your questions or to help you deal with challenging situations between the formal sessions. Unreasonable but compassionate friend, which is when I tell you the truth compassionately. A teacher, coach, and mentor. Sometimes it spills over to your personal stuff, and that's all part of life, and it happens. If you commit to working with me, I have got your back, as I do with all my clients. And as Nikki says, what would I say to anyone considering taking up coaching sessions with Roz? Have the initial call, be completely open and honest, and enjoy your sessions. It's your time. First come, first served. I have freed up some time in my diary. There are 15 strategy calls available to book with me. That is my Calendly link. If you want to book a call, please just take a picture of that link or whatever you need to do, click on that and find some time to have a call with me. Or if you can't find something, just email me that you'd like to have that call, or with any questions generally, even if you just want the Wheel of Life template. So again, what you get, the experienced certified business coach with hundreds of success stories by your side as long as you need her, unreasonable but compassionate friend, teacher, coach, and mentor, group coaching, weekly video training, weekly meetings with one-to-one contact by telephone or email in between if required, your free DISC personality profiling, critiques of any written material, 2 quarterly in-person 1-day business planning workshops, and guaranteed results. So before we wrap up, for just £600 a month or £3,000 upfront payment. And to apply for your place, there is a Calendly link, or you can just email me. Okay. So do we have any comments in the chat that I need to look at? I think so. So before we just go into questions, I want to can you put in the chat room, share with, only I can see it, just put the number one thing that you've got from this workshop today that you are going to go away and implement immediately. I'd love to see what you've got before we wrap up. What's the number one thing you've got from this session today that you are going, this is accountability, writing it down, committing to it. What are you going to do straight away? Maybe just have a quick flick back through your notes. What are you going to do straight away? Yep. Yes, cool. Great. Thanks, Lewis. Anybody else want to add something? Have you got some actions that you're going to do straight away? You haven't sat here and wasted your time for an hour. You've got something that you can do straight away. We've covered quite a lot today. Yes, good idea. That's great. I can help you with that if you want. Okay. Any questions? Anybody got any questions they would like to ask? Yes. Nice one, Lisa. Good. Goals. Agree your goals. Write them down. And does anybody have any questions as well? You can put them in the chat, or I'll look in the Q&A actually as well. Somebody said, can you buy disc? You can, yeah. I mean, I give clients get disc for free, but I do actually sell. I do sell disc for, if you're not a client of mine, I sell it for £100 actually. I sell them to recruitment businesses and HR. I'm a accredited disc practitioner, so I can and not everybody is. Yeah, boundaries. Yes, love that. Exactly, that's what we've got to do. We've got to respect our time. You know, respect our time. We all have the same number of minutes. It's finite, is it not? Let's be honest. It's finite, the time we get. So putting boundaries in place is fabulous. Any more questions? Yes, the program is over Zoom, so I can, you know, I did a bit of Zoom before lockdown, but then we had to go. That was the only way to carry on working. So, and it works. People do. Like, I've got a lovely office here. People do come to my office, but everything I do, I've got a book club. I've got a networking group. Everything I do can work on Zoom. So, yeah, people are welcome to come and see me in my office. But everything works fine over Zoom. Yeah. Now I'm going to stop sharing the screen actually now. Please feel free to book a slot in my Calendly. If you can't find a slot that's useful for you, then just email me. You don't have to be, I'm not asking you to sign up to my program. If there's anything that we've covered today or anything we didn't cover that you've got questions about, I'm sure I can help you. So feel free to get in touch. But thank you so much for being great participants of our workshop today. I hope it's been useful. Keep in touch, book your call, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye for now.